I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. It's so good to be back on HAPI Talks. It's so nice. I tell you, I love this, and I'm not going to call him a little guy, even though he's much younger than me. Okay, but I love this boy's spirit. Oh my gosh, he's such a I can just eat him up. So I just want to just first give a shout out to everyone that came on. You guys were in here early waiting for Mr. Islam. I'll tell you, that's what's up. All right. I see Tamu, Deanna, Fruits of Life. Yeah, these people, okay, Fruits of Life, Simba, you guys were there early. Julie Rudder, I mean, she put a couple of not text messages, but chats in there because she was like, she want to have front row seat to see this brother. That's right, Fruits of Life, Fruits Are Life, absolutely. Elias, Samsonite. So it's really good to see you guys in the house. You know, we really enjoy doing this show. Not only myself, but Taki, Grant. You know, we love doing this show because we learn a lot, and it's always good to just keep learning. It doesn't matter how old you get. You want to keep opening up your mind and being open to everything and all things. So I first just want to say, you guys have got to sign up for the newsletter, okay? Because we're going to be announcing some things, and we're going to give first dibs to people who are on the, that are signed up for the newsletter. So you can't be mad when we put the tickets out for everyone and there's not, you can't get a ticket because you're not signed up with the newsletter. So if you just go on to hapifilm.com, you can get connected. Here, I'm gonna put this up for you guys. But yeah, so you want to make sure that you're connected to, to us with the newsletter. I'm sorry. Oh, I tell you, this little technology, sometimes you just have to just give it a minute. But yeah, you want to go to hapifilm.com and sign up for the newsletter. And also, while you're there, we have lots of merchandise. We have new merchandise. Okay, so I couldn't get the hat. We have happy hats now, but I couldn't get the hat over my head. Okay, maybe another day, but not tonight. But we have, there's my Nubia shirt. We have all types of happy shirts, and we have all the DVDs. Okay, now all the DVDs that we have are, you can get a DVD. Some of you guys don't even know what DVDs are and don't even have a DVD player, but that's okay. You can live stream everything. Okay. And shout out to Amina Membership. That's where, that's my hairdresser. Okay, don't look at my hair right now. She didn't do it. But shout out to Amina, that's Tammy in the house. I see William, Tashi. So when you go to hapifilm.com, you can, pick up all of our DVDs. We also have, we're live streaming those things. You can make sure you sign up for the newsletter. And you can also read about the movement, right? And what is the HAPI movement? But there's 4 principles that we are, that's part of our mission. Number 1, love Black people. Easy. Number 2, support Black businesses. Number 3, become financially literate with your money. Okay. And number 4, teach the youth the truth. All right. So those are our guiding principles, that we are, and eventually we will add we'll add some more, but that's where we are right now. Right there, if you want to donate, and remember, folks, anytime you donate money to HAPI Film, it goes right back to our people. We use the money to continue spreading the word, bringing on guests, having events, and trying to get everyone informed on what we need to do as Black folks, as Black folks to move forward. So it's really super important that, I keep thinking about something that Dr. Ranoka Rashidi said, and it was that everyone can't do everything, but everyone has to do something. Okay. And so that's something, if you can't, get out and, and come to an event or volunteer someplace, you can always donate money to people who are actually doing those things. Right. And that way you are still helping out you're helping, but you may not be able to give your time to 5 different places, but you may be able to donate to 4 and then be in person for 1. So we want to just, make sure you guys are, thank you, Woo Woo Baby. I think that says Woo Woo Baby. Yeah, I should have my glasses. But thank you for your super chat. And yeah, thank you guys. So make sure that that you are supporting. Oh, okay. I see Amina in the house. Thank you. Thank you, Amina, for supporting HAPI. That's what's up. Thank you so much. Okay, wow, you guys are getting the party started early. That's what's up. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, family. So we, a couple of months ago, we had this event in Detroit, Michigan. We were going to have this huge, big old, conference in Egypt, and it was going, we had everybody flying in, and we're going to do this One Africa Returning to the Source conference, right? And unfortunately, people got wind of us coming and was like, oh no, what, these Black people are gonna come here and talk about themselves and their history? Oh, no, 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 no. And they essentially went on a campaign to shut us down. Now, the people who took, Eric, there was a lot of, people involved in this. And unfortunately, some of the people look like us. But all along, we were like, no, we are definitely gonna have this conference. So we ended up switching venues, and we had this huge One Africa Power and Unity conference in Detroit, Michigan. Now, the thing about this is that we, initially we were like, okay, we're going to have this type of conference and this and that, but because of all the things that happened to us, it was so important that we understood how it's very important to have this power of unity, right? Because when one of us is having difficulties out there in the world, all of us are. So what happened to us, how they were able to shut us down there, they can shut anybody down. And actually my guest is a prime example of people keep trying to shut them down, and so it is incumbent of us to work together. And we were, thinking about this idea of unity, but it became more and more clear with what was happening in Egypt that we needed to be in Detroit and we needed to have this conference. So we had this conference, and we were able to have our guests along with 12 other scholars come and talk. Some were virtual and some was in person. But the cool thing about this is that people who tried to stop us in Egypt tried to stop us in Detroit, and it actually made it bigger and better. We were able to live stream to thousands of people, and it was just really a nice event. But one of the brothers that was speaking was this young cat right here. And so I am so excited to bring on Rizza Islam. Okay, wait. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yes. Okay, first of all, because there's debates out here in these streets. Is it Rizza or Rizza?
Rizza.
Rizza, yes, because Rizza's the old man and Rizza is the new man, the younger man.
How it is.
Yes. Okay, gosh, where do I start? I was just telling this brother that he's one of the few guests that we can talk about anything. Like, he's educated and always prepared to talk about everything Black. I love it.
My best. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you know what, Rizza, before we get started, I want to first say, can we just talk about your involvement in One Africa? Okay, yes. Because I was having conversations with some people, and I was like, this brother right here, he didn't just have a talk, he gave an address. Okay. So if you could just talk a little bit about like what you were thinking about when you think about the power of unity, what is your thoughts and what did you sort of kind of summarize what you talked about?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I'll say is I'm always honored to collaborate with you, my brother, and our family from HAPI Films, HAPI Talks, and everything that is dealing with the HAPI Nile River, anything dealing with our people. I'm truly honored.
Thank you.
For all the work that all of you are doing. So anytime I get a call, my assistant says, "Look, Rizza, HAPI is calling." I'm like, "Look, shut everything down. I'm right."
Oh, we appreciate you. We appreciate you.
That first, definitely. And when I was invited to be a part of that event, the first thing that I think everyone should understand is I see our scholars as my celebrities. That is who my celebrities are our scholars, those who have dedicated their lives to the acquisition of knowledge, sharing of knowledge, and making sure that it never dies in the minds of the future generations. That is what we have to stand on, is that knowledge, so that we can carry it on to the future. So when I saw who was on the flyer and they asked would I like to be a part of that, what kind of question is that? So I'm like, no, Professor James Smalls, Dr. Kaba Kamene. I'm just thinking these are the people who I look up to. So the first thing in my mind was, I better come with it. That was the first thing. I better come with it. And I'm talking about everything, because if I'm going to be with our legends and scholars and those who have been paving the way for us, I need to make it very clear that I'm also dedicating my life to this mission as well. It's not a talk thing, it's a walk thing. Yes. So a lot of people don't see it as a mission, but that's what it is. It is not a trend. It's not something you do virtually, just hop on the internet. No, this is a off camera, on camera type thing. And that's what was going through my mind, which was, again, I have to make sure I put all of my energy, spirit, and ask the ancestors, Almighty God, Allah, to come around and bless me to push what needs to be given to the people. That's what I have.
Yeah, and you look nice. And you look nice. I was like, oh my God. There was, I was, that weekend, I was just tearing up because it's like people came, like it was reminiscent of like when I hear I hear like Dr. Jeffries and Professor Small talk about some of these conferences from back in the day. And I'm like, we're having one of those conferences from back in the day right now. That's right. You guys, each and every one of you guys were prepared and ready to go and had something very specific to say, And when I saw you there, I was like, oh my God. Like it was so nice. So I really,
it was
powerful. Really appreciate you. Yeah. So when you think about unity, what do you think about?
First thing is ending all arguments. I don't see anything that is worthy enough to keep Black people or the melanated family distracted any longer. I don't see anything that is that worthy of our attention outside of coming together and doing what needs to be done for us to move forward. I don't see, there is nothing more valuable than that. So nothing is going to take my attention. You're not going to get me to say anything negative about the Black woman. You're not going to get me to start attacking my own brothers. You're not going to get me to find some other agenda, argument, something to tie my attention to if it is not dealing with us being self-sustaining, building our own educational system, our own schools, our own grocery stores, our own trade systems, our own everything. I'm not interested in anything else. Yes. So when it comes to unity, I do my best to operate the way our body operates. Every organ is different. It has a different function, but it works collectively in one manner to move towards one common goal. That is the only thing. I'm like tunnel vision, like horses with blinders on. I don't see none of that nonsense. This enemy knows what his agenda is. We too need to know what his agenda is, but more importantly, what our agenda must be.
Yes. So, okay. So, I was talking with Rizza and we were, we're going to hit everything because we're talking about the global impact on Black people tonight, right? And so when we started looking at the areas, and we have quite a few, we're going to look at healthcare.
Oh, yes.
Healthcare, family, food, education, and this idea of we'll say roles of men and roles of women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of when we're thinking about what can we address first, or what should be the priority, where do you see like those things? What do you think's number one that we need to first look at?
First thing that we have to look at
or consider.
Yeah. The spiritual aspect, although a lot of people shy away from it because it is the number one most least understood aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It has so many layers to it, so much charge, negative energy, trauma, etc. So we don't want to look at the spiritual, but that is the number one issue that we are dealing with, is a spiritual warfare. We are going up against a satanic system of white supremacy that wants to maintain its dominance, control, and superiority and supremacy. If we don't get that through our heads first, nothing else, as Brother Neely Fuller said, will we understand. Everything else will simply make no sense to us and we'll be confused. That's point number one. From the spiritual, then we must go to the mental in that order. Because in order for you to understand what is happening mentally, then you must understand what is happening to you spiritually. So from spiritual to the mental, and then from the mental, I would say the physical and then the emotional, because we're being attacked on all those layers. So we have to address all of those layers. Everything that is happening spiritually has a mental and a physical part. It is a coexisting reality that is happening on all these different levels. And then from there, from the spiritual, the mental, the physical, the emotional, then of course we have the agricultural, then we have the familial, then of course we have the legal, we have all these areas, the educational, it goes into all the other areas, but it must start with the spiritual. And I'm saying this as a, what they would say, young brother in this generation. It's not attractive for a lot of us in our minds in this generation to talk about anything spiritual, again, because it's the least understood area in this generation.
Yeah.
But I believe that will be the best order that will bring us bring about the greatest outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting you talk about this spirituality. We quite frequently like to bring on Professor James Small, who, I mean, that's, and he doesn't even use the word spirituality anymore. He says, he's like, we're not using that anymore. He's like, because it's really African sacred sciences.
True.
That's and I was like, wow, I've never even thought about that. But so what do you do? Like you, Rizza, what do you do to get in touch with your African sacred sciences or your spirituality that you think that other people may, benefit from?
Absolutely. First thing is prayer is necessary. I'm gonna say this to anybody, no matter if you hood, if you whatever you want to call yourself, you hood, you spiritual, you religious, you're not, you whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah.
Prayer is important. Now, if you want to call it meditation, if you want to call it going into a trance, whatever you want to call it, there are different ways to describe connecting to the one true God, universe, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, him and or her. You have to connect, pull and connect into that source. Just like a light bulb, we don't have the light bulb as the source of the light. It is a conduit. It's what the light flows through. When the light bulb goes out, the energy is not gone. It's still there. It simply has to maintain a secured environment to flow through. If we are not connected to the energy, we will no longer be useful to ourselves and absolutely will no longer be able to be useful to nobody else. So prayer for me is the main thing. And I'm talking about, for example, in Islam, how we pray on a rug or on a towel, praying to the east. There are certain steps, a rak'ahs, or there's a mathematically precise way that was practiced in ancient Kemet. These are different, ways to do it. You can stand up, you can sit down. Even the Holy Quran says, remember me, Allah, always, whether praying, standing, laying down, or on your side. So however you want to sit, stand, or do whatever, make sure you connect with your spiritual life. Okay. However you want to do it, what's best for you.
Yeah.
And then I'll say after that, I do my best, as I mentioned, with those layers, to practice things that help to relieve and remove the trauma from these areas and bring positive energy to these areas. So the spiritual is one, then the mental is another. I do my best to get away from social media, although sometimes it can be hard because it's not what I use for being famous or whatnot. No, it's used for business. It's used to educate the people, to warn, to empower them with solutions. So it's a good tool if you use it properly. So I do my best to get away from social media as often as I can, putting my phone down, going outside, I exercise at least 3 to 4
You
times.
do. Yeah,
Yes.
you get it in. No, okay, wait. We gonna stop. Let's pause for a minute. Okay. Now, Rizza really does exercise, and this is a reason all night I'm gonna be asking him, like, what does he specifically do? Because a lot of times people talk about stuff. Well, you should be exercising. They're eating like some candy. Oh no,
Right.
no, not Rizza. Rizza is always out there sweating, and I'm like, the running, and the thing about it, he can run and talk.
Yes.
Yeah, so that means you're really, like, you're conditioned. If something's gonna pop off, we need to be part of your team, because you're gonna make sure you'll be able to run. You'll be able to run. You'll be able to do whatever. You're very, very strong. So I appreciate you for that. So yes, and then you always stop at your favorite spot, and sometimes you get a juice.
Oh yes, juicing is a major key component, only because the food that we eat today, the nutritional value is so low. So in order for you to compensate, or basically to get the nutritional value of an apple today that you would have had from 30 years ago, you have to eat at least 4 to 5 apples. Same thing with carrots, same thing with anything else. I mean, it's crazy to even think of something like that in the way that they manipulated food, but it's a real life thing. And you know, if you care about your physical, like a lot of us think we do, until you think, man, I can't eat that right now. I should eat this. I have to take vitamins, minerals, herbs, drink this kind of water, exercise this amount a week. You have to do all this to really maintain a steady overall level of health. It becomes, you know, you have to find a way to make it work for you. But me, I can't play, because this is a mission I'm on. I'm around people all the time. I travel a lot, so I have to constantly be prepared for whatever, good or bad. You got to be prepared. So yes.
So let's go back and hit this food area, because you know, now we're seeing a lot of us, we're going to these grocery stores, and food is astronomical.
Yes.
You know, the price is going up. So that tells me that, you know, it has to be some type of food shortage that, you know, maybe, you know, going on right now. What do you propose that we do? Well, first of all, what is your thoughts on food in terms of, like, our
the food crisis circumstance? First thing is, I look at the spiritual side of it first. So I do believe that Allah, God, Supreme Being, has its hands involved in this in some way, shape, or form, whether if it is direct, indirect, or whether if it is as a result of us listening or not listening. Okay, that's one. Then you have the enemy, the system, who always is going to put his hands in something, especially when it deals in being able to control and manipulate the melanated family first, and then all of the human beings after that. So it's 2 layers to this right here. Some people say, oh, it's an accident of this, it's climate, this, it's that. No, this enemy is manipulating the food supply. After the passing of the DARK Act under Obama, where they wouldn't have to label anything when it comes to GMOs. Then once Monsanto started getting out of all of these lawsuits, and they started to add different chemicals and GMOs into certain foods, and then the water supply, and then the fruits and vegetables, of course, then you had the baby formula. Then you had them going after farmers who were literally growing their own food, naturally, organic, etc. But then they started to sue farmers because some of their GMO seeds would get onto the farmland of those who were not producing GMO. And so they would say, you have to pay us this amount of money if you want to maintain this farm. And if not, we will sue you every month until you sell us the land, or etc., or move out, what have you. And then, of course, after that, you have the strategic bombing, the strategic firebombing, the strategic, I would say, espionage, or going in and destroying facilities that produce food and milk and all these different things. Recently, there have been multiple factories, multiple farms that randomly caught fire, randomly blew up all across the world. And I'm talking about to the tune of, I believe at one point, there were roughly, I think it was 12 to 15 locations within 1 month. No, I don't see that as, oh, just a coincidence. No. Then after that, you have someone by the name of Bill Gates, who we know has purchased up a large percentage of land in America. Of course, he owns the majority of California agricultural land, and California still produces over 45% of America's food. So we have to be very mindful of this. Then another layer, because, again, there are layers to this thing. We always have to understand. You have a company called All Things Bugs, sister.
What?
It's called All Things Bugs, that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded to be started by a man who's a chemist, and he works in the area of looking at how to use insects as a food source. So now they have macaroni from insects. They have protein bars from insects, powder from insects, all insect-based foods, because they're saying this is more eco-friendly. The overhead will be less problems in the environment with the environmental footprint and the carbon emissions and what have you. All of these things they're trying to justify now, promoting to the world to eat bugs. And it's sponsored and funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I recommend everyone check that out, because they're now maneuvering and pushing people away from food entirely and saying, just eat insects. And before anyone tries to go into this point and say, well, they already do that in certain countries and certain third world areas, that's because a lot of them, one, do it culturally. Number one, because of a cultural norm in certain areas, which is completely different from over here. Or number two, because they literally don't have anything else to eat. So let's not try to rationalize what Satan in this system is doing. Don't play that game.
Exactly.
Toss that over here. So, there are layers to this thing, sister. But I will say, on the other end, there are a lot of our people buying up land. A lot of people are growing food at home and in the windowsills and in the backyards. People are doing raised bed gardens. It is happening. So there is a good balance point here. It's just we have to speed it up.
Yeah, you know what? As soon as oh God, that's just somebody, I was thinking that was disgusting, and somebody said that's disgusting. I was like, that is. Yes. One thing I appreciate you saying this when you're talking about the spiritual, when you look at the spiritually, and I always feel like there's some things that start happening to us because it makes us have to stand in a certain way and start to do certain things to combat this. So this is, the attack that has been on us for so long, has really allowed us the opportunity to even stand taller than we did, than we've ever had, in history. So this idea of food, growing your own food. And I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times we just think no one's doing nothing. Right. Just like slavery, like everyone just said, we just went along with it. No, there were people that was fighting back. Right. So this whole idea of food, there are people who are growing their own food, but what we're saying is that we need more people to do this. And this is a perfect opportunity for power and unity. Why? Because a lot of us live on the same block where we can get an area and everyone can, put your seeds up in there and everyone can benefit from the harvest of that. And you can't do this by yourself. You can't do this by yourself.
It's a group effort when it comes to farming. And what's interesting is it doesn't take as much work as we think.
Yes.
It really doesn't. It is an effort that we all collectively use the same energy when it comes to going to the club, when it comes to out on the block. We use the same energy. We all come together at the time. We pick our outfits. We get it all ready. Make sure that we got gas in the car. We got money with our breath. Whatever it is, we put all that energy to go and spend hours at a place that will not give us any productive results or outcome at all. Yeah. At all. So it's like, wait, hold up. Don't say we don't have time. Oh, I can't. Bro, sister, please, please, please. As long as we remain dependent on our enemy to feed us, we will perpetually remain enslaved. There's no question about it. I cannot complain about a system if I refuse to replace it with my own. At this point, nothing else that we can continue to complain about. We know the problem. We know it. We are experts and scholars of the problem. We know. But it has to be understood, gradually broken down, and then solutions have to be inserted into every level that we discuss. And at this point, we can spend 15, 20 minutes a day when it comes to adding to our own agricultural health, putting some money in. If you or me can't do it because of our busy schedule or whatever it is, we can put money in to support those so that they can actually make a living to do it in our place.
Yes. Yes, living wage. And yes, so I was the first person I thought about was Maliki Yanini out in Detroit. Because he has he's building a Detroit, the first Detroit co-op. He has a farm in Detroit, and there's farms that are in these inner cities, that we really need to support. And that's what we're tell you, Dr. Renaud Rashidi, Rizza just said it as well. If you don't feel like getting out there tilling the soil with the sun on your back, you don't got to do that. But just drop some dollars. Yeah. Or you're like, people who have like these co-ops, just go get your fruits and vegetables from them.
Yes.
Just go there. Yes. We don't need to be at Whole Foods. We can be at, Whole Black Foods.
That's a fact.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, yeah. Okay. All right. So now, spiritual, mental, we were talking about food, but in this idea of food and health. Okay. Yes. So I know where you stand on the vaccine. And anybody, they have to just
so that the video doesn't get taken down on YouTube, just say the shot. The shot. Yes.
The shot. Yes. You're an expert at knowing what we'll do. Yes. So the shot. So what? Okay, now we got a new thing going on, the Monkey Pox. And I have to say, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, this has to be a joke. I went on IG. I saw people with like ape outfits on. I was like, what is this? But I didn't even realize that was a real thing. So what is going on with the monkey pox? And is there a shot for that?
First thing, one, when they are creating these viruses, and I'm using the word create, when they are creating and or manipulating these viruses in a what is called gain of function format, meaning they are weaponizing it to be able to transfer from animals to human beings. When they do that, you would now have a gumbo of potential for multiple viruses to pop up all over the place, because these viruses are made in petri dishes from animal proteins, animal components. So monkeypox is one of those viruses that is a byproduct from one, and this has been verified by a number of scientists, Dr. Christina Parks, cellular molecular biologist, Dr. Paul Alexander, PhD epidemiologist, former HHS scientific advisor, and former scientific advisor to President Donald Trump and the Trump administration in the White House itself. Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Peter McCullough. I'm just giving a few names so that people can go check out the references. These have been proven, this virus, monkeypox, to be a byproduct of those who were in the mass inoculation process that was conducted over the last 2.5 years, where people were injected to the tune of over 200 million in America, over 1 billion on planet Earth, with a shot that is not safe nor effective, but does produce rapid mutation within a person's body by way of a spike protein. So now you have people who are walking virus producers, and they're not realizing that that's what that spike protein has done. But now it is being admitted and exposed. So yes, it is connected to the people who took the CV-19 shots, whether if it was from Moderna or specifically it was from Johnson & Johnson, or if it was from AstraZeneca, if it was from Moderna and or Pfizer. That is a very critical point. I want everyone to understand. That's the first thing. On the second end of this, because a lot of what is coming into human contact, the two shots that are still on the old system of creating shots, and particularly we're talking about Johnson & Johnson, and we're talking about the, I believe, AstraZeneca. Those still used viruses, not mRNA, but actual viruses. Okay. When you're looking at that, now the higher potential of it mutating into another form of virus that you can't be protected from another shot, which again, it's not going to protect you anyway, is very high. So I know I'm going into a list. There's so much in that, but just know it is not an accident. It is a byproduct of people being injected with those shots, and it is now creating other viruses, which is why within the last month and a half, over 6 new viruses have just popped up out of nowhere. Now, polio is back, sister.
I heard. I was like, you know what? I was like, polio.
Yeah.
Polio.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. And but wait a minute. I believe 3 days ago, 4 days ago, admitted the polio strain came from. The new polio that just popped up. Guess where they admitted it came from?
Where?
Anthony Fauci said, in his own words on an MSNBC interview, this new polio that just came out was as a result of someone who took a shot. He said it out of his mouth for the first time. He just admitted what we told everybody.
Yeah,
Okay, so no. So yes, man, I just wanted to make sure we understood, not only were we right and exact, not only was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan right and exact when he told everyone not to take it way back in July 4th of 2020 in his address called The Criterion, not only were we right and exact when we've been warning people about this, myself personally, since late 2014, about other shots, about other things going on, but it's like at a certain point, when are you going to listen? At a certain point, you're gonna, you can't trust this enemy, no matter how many Black artists or celebrities or athletes endorse it, talking about you should take it and all that. We need to stop listening to anyone who promotes the enemy's agenda. Anybody that includes our own people. We love.
You know what? Say it one more time. Say that one more time.
We have to stop listening to anybody who pushes this enemy's agenda, even if they look just like us. No. All skin folk are not kin folk, and I'm using that specifically so we can get this through our head. A lot of our people who are in these higher up positions were pushing things because they were convinced by someone close to them, because they were ignorant and they thought they were doing the right thing, because they were lied to by way of their indoctrination in the schooling system when they first got their degree to begin with. A lot of them really believed what they were told, sister, and that's the only merciful side I can give. Some of them really believed it. They wholeheartedly, truly believed it, and they pushed it because they thought it would be the best thing for our people. We need it. We're predisposed to this, etc. We're the most affected, not realizing it's coming from the same enemy who puts the chemicals in the air, chemicals in the water, chemicals in your food. If they wanted to help you, why do they still put all these chemicals in all these areas? Why don't they start by removing those things which created the pre-existing conditions that later on the shot, it's that the virus leads you over into killing you in the first place? And
we don't talk, we gotta something that you said that was just, I think we just need to have a little conversation with the family about. So, because we're not making this up when we're saying that, that there's people that look like us that have the agenda of people that are against us. That's a true thing. So like, if we have 100 people in the chat right now, 25 of y'all ain't really messing with us. Because that's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of, that's really, when we think about, of just advancing, it's like, as Black folks, we have to look at every single person.
Yes.
And that's a shame. But it doesn't have to be 25% of us, right? Because if, at any point you have to bet on Black. And the problem is that there's not enough of us that are betting on Black.
That's a fact.
And and it's not to say that we that Black people are perfect. We're not saying all of that, but we are saying that when you are truly a person that's for the family, you're not going to let anybody hurt the family, even if you disagree.
Yes.
I can disagree with Rizza, but somebody come for him, they coming for me.
Come on, see.
That's just it. So it's like, we have to really, we got to watch what we say, and what we promote, because this, I hadn't seen such a division of Black folks until the shot came along.
Yes.
It's like, it was ending relationships.
Yes.
It was,
Yes, it was real.
Yeah. So we got to be real careful about that, family.
Let me mention this on that point that you're bringing up, Sister C. Infiltration does take place in the mind. It's not just a blatant outward public thing. Infiltration does take place in the mind. It takes place spiritually, but it takes place in the mind when you accept ideas that are counterproductive to your own people's progressive results and upliftment. When you're accepting ideas that counteract the productive movement of your people, then you have now become a devil. That's just what it is. That's what you become.
What it is.
You become an agent on behalf of this system because you're now doing its bidding, following its agenda, promoting its thing. You're not doing what needs to be done for your people. And the main thing I will say that a lot of people now are regretting, they started doing a poll to check the number. You know, what is a potential number of people who now have what is called stab or the shot regret, they're calling it now. It's in the tens of millions already because they found out so far stuff keeps coming out. Okay, you said take one, now you're saying take two, now you're saying take, okay, now a third, which is a booster, okay, and fourth now, a booster. Now they're talking about a fifth shot, sister. Then they're talking about a pill. Now they're even trying to come out with an experimental chewing gum. Sister, at a certain point, you realize I was played. I was played.
Yeah.
So now people have this regret, and that is why we continue to just, to help our people to understand, listen, we love our people, absolutely. However, realize when some of our people are being used, even when they don't realize they are being used. Please, if it's coming from this system, honestly, I'm not doing it. I don't care who tells me to do it. I don't care who endorses it. Your favorite basketball player, your favorite rapper, your favorite, any of that. I am not interested. And I've had to come at a number of our celebrities and artists for pushing what they knew was going, what they did not know was going to yield such damaging results. And some of them, when they tried to come at me and attack me, that's when I had to turn up on them. Like, listen, excuse me, you a singer, you a dancer, you a comedian, stay in your damn lane. Stop doing what you're doing. Okay, now this is a real world over here. We are real activists. We are real soldiers, real researchers. We do this in real life. We are not a person who does this for a trend. Stay in your damn lane. If you're going to push the enemy's agenda, then you are now going to be on his side, and we are going to have to address you like we address him.
Yeah. And sometimes, and some of the people just straight lie, right? Because they have the money and they have the resource not to even take the shot. So I'm just trying to figure out why you telling me to do it, but you like they're not even doing it. Like it's just it's
a lot of them were paid. The White House set aside a budget to pay TikTokers and Instagram influencers in particular. They set aside a large budget. This is public news that came out, but they did pay a lot of people to take it, and a lot of people that got paid did not take it. I was even given some of the information by by three celebrities who called me, and they said, "Rizza, I'm gonna tell you this. I follow you, love what you do, etc. But I'm gonna tell you now, my manager called me and told me that they received a call from 3 pharmaceutical companies, each one offering a higher amount than the other, to just say that I took it." To just say I don't even have to take it, just to say
I took it,
or to just say trust the science, or to just say go and talk to your doctor, or they will get paid more if they would get it on video. No, this is pimping.
I can't.
People. So I just wanted to validate your point. You're absolutely right and exact. And there are a lot of people who I know personally who did not do it, and they told their manager, stop calling me about this. I'm not doing it. I don't care how much money they offer, but they were offering some big money. They was offering certain people some 6-figure checks.
Because they're making 8 figures. It's like to them, it's a drop in the bucket. And so this is, it's like how much, does it take for you to sell out your people? But this is the thing I'm telling y'all, you got to bet on Black.
Yes.
You got to bet on Black. You got to bet on Black.
Make sure it's Black here first.
Like, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna just pause for a quick moment. We have to take a little commercial break for a second. Okay, listen, family. If y'all see some of you guys, I remember when we announced Rizza. I remember you guys were in the chat. Rizza, See, I couldn't hear you in the chat because it's the chat and you guys were typing it. But I could check by how you guys were saying his name up in there. And then after Detroit, and after he delivered his address, okay, because it was an address, all those voices were silent. So I just want to tell you guys, head over to hapifilm.com. Let me just put up a little Happy Film right there. Okay, and get your copy of One Africa. Okay, we're streaming it and you can rent it. It's $20. It's $20 and it's 12 hours of the conference. We have everyone's from the beginning to the end. Everyone's lecture is on there. And so it's worth the $20. You need to sit down there with family and watch these skilled scholars deliver the message of power and unity. So just head on over to hapifilm.com and get your copy. Also, I want to thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you. Listen, we are building an empire, and an empire costs money. And this HAPI movement ain't free. What Rizza does is not free. And let me put up Rizza's information, because I don't know if you guys have his book or not. It's lovely. We actually, when we, and this is actually going to take me on to the next thing I have to talk about. So when we hit 10,000 viewers on YouTube, we celebrated by sending 10 viewers 10 things from 10 Black-owned companies. And one of them was Rizza's book, because I had gotten it. I was like, this book is good. And then he came on. I was like, damn. I said, we got to get this book. So we ordered copies. We didn't ask Rizza for no discount, nothing. I just went online. I think at the time, I forgot who I called to figure out how I do it. And I went online, we ordered the 10 copies. They came and we gave them out. And people were so excited about this book. He's one of two of my favorite young folks, Pace McGee of Voice of the Ancestors and Rizza. Their books are great, okay? And when you wrote that book, what age were you thinking? Was it like for the young Black man, or like who were you thinking? Because you hit me and I'm an older Black woman.
You know what? It was a universal. I'm glad that was the result, because it was for everyone. That's why the way I worded it, the way I typed it out, and all the different areas I covered, it was for any age group. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So so we were at 10,000 then. So now listen, family, we are 5, and I'm looking up at the YouTube numbers. Okay, we are only 500 subscribers left. Subscribers short of reaching 25K. Okay. And we know that a lot of you guys are watching us, but you kind of, some of you guys are like secretly hating and not really like subscribing to us. We asking you just to move on over to the subscription. Just go ahead and hit the little subscribe and then hit the notifications button. We are 500 short. That's it. You know. Go ahead and subscribe, y'all. Yes, thank you, Rizza. And so please, family, help us get to 25K, by the end of summer, which is like, I don't know, like in a month, I think. I don't know. When does summer end? It seems like they keep messing with the global. I don't even know when it ends and when it starts anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially on the West Coast. It's very weird.
Yes. And see, look, Sandra's like, she's 58 and she has your book right there. Yes. Yes. So, okay. So family, Cash App is right there. $hapifilm. That money goes right back into our community. And so please, guys, anything you can give, please make sure you send that over, because we will put it to good use. And I had to address one thing that was said in the chat. Someone said I called you boy. What?
No, you corrected yourself. You said I'm not going to call him little boy. I'm not going to call him little man.
Yeah. That's something in the beginning. Yeah, because I don't use boy. Except for, do I see my kids? I don't think I even call them boys. Boy, I'm about to get you. Well, maybe I do. Right. Not to this grown man sitting here. I was like, I did say that at the beginning. I was like, I'm not going to call him little man, because I tend to put little in front of everything. But if you guys have seen Rizza is super tall, and definitely has the mind of a great scholar warrior. So no way I call him that. Okay, all right. So we talked about the shot. We talked about food. So now we got to talk about. I don't know which one we'll talk about next. Let's talk about family. We'll talk about family. All right. So. And this is going to lead into this whole idea of male and female roles, right? Mm-hmm. So, what is your thought on just family in general? Let's just start there.
Very
on
good.
Black families.
Absolutely. Well, first thing is, without the Black family, there would be no other family on planet Earth. That's number one. They wouldn't exist because we are the mother and father of civilization. We are the original mother and father of the planet itself and the universe itself. So without us, they would not exist. That is the main reason why we should understand our value more than anything else. We have to fall back in love with who we are by nature. It has to be understood, overstood. It has to be completely conceptualized that without us, there is no them. That's number one. Number two, the mother and father, when it comes to the building of a nation, how we're taught in the Nation of Islam is that family is the cornerstone of a nation. Yes. So without a family, mother and father, there is no nation itself, because how things are built when it comes to dying a family. If there are no families that are complete and built, then there is nothing that can truly succeed. Even when it comes to how this enemy works, he invests in his family. That's how they maintain control. They keep it in the family and they push it through the lineage. You hear their last names all the time, not realizing, oh, these are companies, but their last name is letting you know who owns everything. When you hear about Mercedes or Hennessy or this, these are family names. And so they control and they maintain and they do what they try to tell you not to do. We're talking about, man, I can't trust this person in my family, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I hear you. But you find somebody who you do trust in your family because that's the most successful action. That's what everybody else does. So in order for us to move forward, there has to be a strong focus on family. This can't be done with us having this division between the man, the woman, and all these issues. It can't be that way. That's not logical. It's not mathematical. It's not spiritually sound. It's completely backwards, immature. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. So I just, want to make sure we get that through our head, because everybody else is focused on their family and keeping their family as the foundation of everything. Everyone else does this as we originally did, as we taught everyone else to do. So they're carrying on what we have not only taught them, but what we have demonstrated so eloquently ourselves. They know from the very statues that we have how the woman is next to the man.
Yes.
Every single thing that we demonstrated, they took it and ran with it and taught us that that's not what it's supposed to be, while they went and did it exactly how it was originally, how we were doing it. So yes, we have to really focus on building back our families, and we have to focus on cleaning up the trauma within our families in order for us to really support each other. Because that's really a major issue, is that we have so much trauma and negative energy when it comes to mother, father, brother, sister, niece, nephew, auntie, uncle, grandma, grandfather. There's so much negative energy here that we generalize on all of our family and all of our people, when it only has to do with probably one or two specific people.
Yeah.
So like, wait a minute, I'm the good brother. I didn't do that to you. Don't bring that over here. Because if you do that, then everything that is done after that will be completely illogical, and we will not produce nor move forward. Because every Black man is my brother who harmed me. Every Black woman is my mama who abandoned me. Every Black, that's how it goes. A person who's traumatized generalizes. It's everything equals everything. But a person who's logical puts things into separations, and they can look at things logically by separating things. So we have to start separating things in order to give life back to our families. That way we don't take away anymore, but we start adding to.
Yeah. And, it's okay, family, to get therapy. Because we talk about this all the time. Like, you can't do everything by yourself. And sometimes you just need someone to help you just talk through stuff, and say it out loud. You're like, okay, wait, no, that don't make no sense. We have everything we need inside of us. It's just sometimes you need someone to help you kind of get it out.
Absolutely.
I
think it was the men through relationships, and then it was there's that one major topic that we talked about before we got on here. I said, boy, when we get to that, I'm letting you guide it, sister.
We got to talk about this toxic masculinity, this term. Like, okay, just break this down for us, Rizza. Just break this down.
we really have to stop listening to white people when it comes to teaching us about manhood or womanhood. And let me say it this way, because sure, can a white man or woman educate on the topic of manhood or womanhood? Of course, sure. People can educate and teach about these topics, sure. However, when it comes to being a Black man and or woman in the hells of the wilderness of North America, 2,000 by 3,000 continental United States, where we have some of the most trauma in this land, on this land, and around this environment, the best person is someone who has healed from their trauma, if they had any, or is someone who has a successful relationship, marriage, preferably to where they have been married for at least 10, 15 years or more. And in some cases, hell, even 5 years is a decent conversation. You can give me some good wisdom. Okay. But we have to start looking to those examples that have demonstrated what it is that they are talking about. You've been married for 15, 20 years. We know it's not perfect, but at least you can give us a roadmap of how to navigate so that we can make it to that 15, 20 years or more. We have to look at the examples and start to promote the successful examples. So toxic masculinity is a term that was created by two Caucasian males. One is a homosexual, Shepard Bliss and Robert J. Stoller. That's number one. Because what the first thing is, what is a homosexual Caucasian male doing trying to teach anybody about masculinity? That's number one. You don't know what masculinity is, not entirely, but you probably can demonstrate what it is not by way of your behavior. So that's that. But toxic masculinity is a misnomer here. Masculinity is the good thing. It is a power drive circumstance. It is demonstrating manhood and principles and discipline and uprightness and helping to protect men, women, children, families, securing your environment, etc. That's masculinity. But toxicity is the opposite. What we're dealing with is a lack of masculinity, not toxic masculinity. That's what we have. If you want to label it something, it's like, no. A Black man or a man who is attacking people irrationally, going off on people, putting his hands on women, etc. That is a lack of masculinity. Masculinity prevents murders. Masculinity prevents abuse. Masculinity prevents people being taken advantage of. Masculinity protects the environment. Masculinity secures the woman. Masculinity is a great example for young men and young women because she receives the love from her father. Masculinity is what protects the environment, but toxicity is the opposite of masculinity. So when a man lacks masculinity, then he becomes toxic, not combined, because you never hear the term toxic femininity. That's how you know it was a political agenda behind it.
Yeah, wow. Hey, if I had a mic, I'd drop it. Family, please make sure you like and share this video. Listen, you're gonna be tomorrow, you're gonna be at work trying to tell somebody what Rizza said, and you may not remember he was on that HAPI something, and someone's gonna put in HAPPY. So listen, I need for you guys right now to like and share and comment on this video. You guys are doing lots of comments, so I'll leave that part out, but make sure you like and share and send, you have to send this to someone, okay? Because, Rizza is like, you catch him here, you catch him there, but he's saying all the stuff right now here on HAPI Talks. Like and share and comment on this video and make sure you are subscribed.
Absolutely.
Make sure you are subscribed to HappiFilm. Okay. So, I was looking at a video you did, and because you made this point about men wearing dresses who,
yes,
as this is a way that they are trying to get us to just make this like a norm. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Let's see. The system is losing. It is expiring. It's done. This is the first thing we have to understand, because in crime and in criminal cases and in criminal procedure 0, there's a class where you start learning about criminality and how it's being prosecuted or how to go about it legally. You must first establish a motive when you're dealing with a criminal. So when you establish the motive is the reason, it's the why. Why did this person do this? Why? What went through their mind? What was the cause? This system is dying. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the system of white supremacy is on its deathbed. What does that mean? If I am a system that maintains my superiority by way of suppressing and oppressing a specific demographic of people and then all others after that, if I become stronger when they are weaker, if I become more rich when they are poor, if I become healthier when they are sick, if I become more knowledgeable when they are ignorant, then that means I quite literally depend on you to be in your perpetual state and condition in order for me to survive. But if I recognize the fact that you are now becoming more intelligent, you are becoming rich, you are starting to organize and build, you are starting to continue to thrive, even though I still have my foot on you, but it's not strong enough. You're outgrowing my power and authority. I have to stop you by any means necessary. It is a war tactic. So at this point, what they're realizing is men standing up for their women, children, and families is a threat. They've always known this. That's why they removed us from the homes, 80s, 90s, and a little bit prior to that. That's why they made sure they got us on drugs. That's why they made sure they locked us up for the same exact crime that a Caucasian male would commit, but they would lock us up 3-4 times longer. Possession of weed, possession of crack cocaine or powder cocaine, etc., etc., etc. Prior to that, during slavery, they had to make sure they removed us from that specific plantation if we showed any interest in our woman, because they knew if that Negro even looks at that woman, that means he will protect her. He will rise up. He'll probably cut off my neck. He'll cut my neck if he gets the chance. Oh, he'll protect that little nigga baby. And they say they thought like this because they knew. So any sign of a masculine man is a threat to their system, because we are the security. We are the front line. There is no debate about this. And the women are far more valuable. We are taught in the Nation of Islam that the woman is 3 times more valuable than the man.
Wow.
3 times. Which means, although you can fight, sister, you can. A lot of sisters can protect themselves. You know how to shoot guns, you know how to do martial arts, you know how to box, of course. Hell, you can grab a shoestring and strangle somebody. Of course. Of course. But you shouldn't have to.
Yes.
That's all. We make it to where, or should make it to where, the environment is secure enough so that you can do what you need to do by nature, which is to nurture the child, beautify the environment with your creative mind, and make things smell good and look good the way you like it to be. That is your role. Doesn't mean you can't do other things, but again, we should make it to where you can do what you naturally want to do, what speaks to you more than anything else. And the problem is, they witness that the man is becoming masculine, more active, and we're waking up too fast. And so they said, okay, we have to find a way to effeminize these men. They did it chemically in college experiments, Johns Hopkins University, UCLA, other areas. They did gender experimentation on Black men. They use Depo-Provera. Brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad talks about this extensively as well. They use Depo-Provera, Depo shot that women use as birth control. They use that on young Black and brown men as an experiment. That started to effeminize and manipulate the chemistry of us as men. They found ways to inject higher levels of estrogen into certain foods, synthetic soy, which is a synthetic estrogen copycat type of circumstance, to where now you have more boys who are being born with more of an inclination to effeminate behavior. So when people nowadays, and I'm going down a specific list so we can understand the layers of this thing. Nowadays, when certain people say, well, I was born this way, they're not entirely incorrect in certain areas, but don't get it twisted. I'm not validating an agenda. I'm saying the enemy chemically is making it to where they are being born that way in certain instances. It is very critical. They put soy in the baby formula. They're putting it in everything, the cookies, the pies, the cakes, etc., so that it affects the testosterone levels of men. And right now we are at less than 50% of the testosterone today than where we were 30 years ago. So the agenda is take away the security so that we will be able to have access to the prize, which is the woman. Why? This system is trying to perpetuate itself. So its seed has to be planted in fertile soil. And you can take that however you want to take it. But the reality is, the United States Census Bureau has determined that by the year 2042, the white man Caucasian population in America will be the minority in America. They're already the minority on the planet, so don't get that twisted. But in this country that they took, they are now looking at the reality that they are becoming the minority. The United States Census Bureau is not a black melanated organization. And they came out with this. They had something, I believe, in 2017, 2018, called The Vanishing White American on CNN.
Oh.
Talking about, oh yes, where they were talking about how we are disappearing. And in a very short period of time, we will be the minority in America. Now, a lot of you who may not have this mentality where you conceptualize or even conceive of such racist thoughts, etc., most white people do not know about this, what I'm telling you right now. And they don't even think the way you think they are thinking. They don't know. But the majority of those at the top, the wickedly wise at the top, are not interested in giving back something that they took.
Yeah. The ones with money want to keep having money. And so they'll do whatever they have to.
Well,
the ones at the top.
Yeah, I'm not interested in black people being the top bankers, black people being the ones who own the majority of schooling and education, black people owning the trades, black people. Whoa, wait a minute. So why am I saying all this? Because there are layers to this whole thing we have to understand. They're putting men in dresses because once you do that, you are emasculating the very idea of masculinity and strength and security. You're telling the world, I got your man. And he is now a woman in a dress, which there's layers to that too, but we destroyed your security.
Yeah.
So you don't have no security now. Then I have black people being the face of it, even though we're not the majority of people involved, but we are heavily involved and the numbers are quickly rising in America specifically. There are over 1 million self-identifying black people who are a part of the LGBT. And we love our family. So that's not the problem. We love our family. It's just we don't agree with the behavior. Same thing. I love a black man. I love my black brothers, but I do not agree with a black man killing a black man.
Yeah.
So I can love you and disagree with your behavior. So they're putting us in dresses to drive a point home, destroy the security of your people so that we can take the prize, the women and children, destroy the security, destroy the manhood, confuse the genders so that we will destroy a population and then vicariously have a population destroy themselves, because that's where it's also going now. So if there are no men, and now men are trying to become women, which they can never do, and you have some women trying to become men, which they can never do, then what are we doing and where are we going? What is this? No procreation means what? Slow depopulation by way of no procreation. And the ultimate agenda of the United States government, according to government policy, according to the National Security Study Memorandum 200, according to Global 2000, according to the 13 original countries that were on the National Security Study Memorandums list that was written by Dr. Henry Kissinger, 32nd Secretary of State under President Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, that original list, 13, birth control policies must be adopted, shots must be adopted, prevent these people from procreating, prevent them from procreating. Depopulation is the overall agenda, and putting men in dresses goes towards that because it inspires young boys to be effeminate and be girls, and it inspires them to not procreate. And therefore, we will slowly maintain dominance because there will not be any competition procreating to replace us in the future.
Your family, yeah, we got to wake up. I feel like that when in school days when Spike Lee's characters said wake up, we got to wake up.
Oh man,
we get hits on all fronts. Wow. So family, you know what? I forgot. This is because this is the first show since this happened with Facebook with us. So we have stars now on Facebook, so you can just, instead of like putting in the super chat, if you're on Facebook, you can actually just buy stars to support us. So you can now show your HAPI love with purchasing stars. Okay, so make sure if you're watching us on Facebook, and we're on a couple different pages, but if you're on our HAPI Film page, you can actually buy stars. So that's a really big deal. Okay. Feel like, this is, when you're talking, I just keep hearing hip hop songs in my head. So you're like, there's layers to this game. And I was like, who said that? I think it was Jay-Z. I think Jay-Z said there's layers to this game, but there is layers to this. And we are just knocking these layers down, family. So, and we didn't, I was putting this up, but I didn't actually say anything about your, like where people can go and get your book and actually just stay connected to you. Can they get connected to you on your, you have a mailing list on here?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's a text apps now. So I have a text number. Oh,
okay. Yeah, put that in the chat for me and I'll put that up. And if you want to purchase Rizza's book, you can go right there to the website. And I'm going to put this in the chat as well, so you can just hit the link. All right. Okay, there we go. There's the text. Yeah.
Everyone to join the text group, just in case, if and/or when I get shut down from any of these platforms, which we know that's the consistent trend. It may change. We don't know, but as long as we're speaking out against the system, pretty sure it's going to be a consistent love-hate relationship. So make sure you text my number. For this video, I want you all to text HAPI, H-A-P-I, to 310-634-0790.
Oh, that's what's up.
Absolutely.
That's what's up right there. Oh, I have to make sure I text and get on the text group. Because, I just keep putting different versions of your name on IG to find out what your new, your new IG is. Yep, right there, family.
And you know what? I do have a new IG as well. So let me put that. Yes,
Rizza Islam Mix or X?
Yeah, IX.
Oh, IX.
Yep.
Yes.
It's the same as on TikTok, and my YouTube page is Rizza Islam Intellectual Extremist. So I'll put that in that as well, so everyone can go subscribe to that for as long as that will be up, and I'll just speak positive. We'll just let's say it's going to stay up. We'll just speak that.
Yes. So family, we're trying to get you connected. So listen, I'm gonna go down all the list of things you need to do, and then I'm gonna ask this brother a couple more questions. Okay, family. Let me just get my list together.
There you go.
Okay, family, let me just get everything together. So first, we need for you to like and share and comment on this video. We are less than 500 subscribers away from getting to our 25,000 a milestone on YouTube. So if you are looking at this broadcast right now and you are not subscribed to our channel, make sure you subscribe. We've actually, this is not the first time we've had Rizza on this platform. He came on with Lord Jamar, I think last year. So you can watch all of our old HAPI Talks. We have over 100, I think now. That's on hapifilm.com. So hapifilm on YouTube. So make sure that you are subscribed and you get the notifications from us. Now, because you got to hit the notifications button. Now, you're going to also go on to hapifilm.com and you're going to get connected to our newsletter. Okay, right there. You can get merchandise. I have one of our Nubia t-shirts on. We have t-shirts, hats. We have all of our DVDs. We have HAPI, which is the 2-hour film. HAPI Talks comes from the HAPI film. Everyone thinks we just have HAPI Talks, but we actually did a 2-hour documentary.
I gotta see that.
Yes, where we look at economics, and we started in Kemet, and we take it all the way to the United States. We were like, why did we put in $1.2 trillion into this economy and we have nothing to show for it? So we look at that with 30 other scholars. So make sure you do that. Then you're going to make sure that you are contributing. If you don't have, listen, we're not trying to, if you don't have like anything, sometimes there's times I don't have nothing to give. So at the very least, make sure you're subscribed and that you're liking and that you're sharing this video with at least 3 other people. But if you do have some extra dough somewhere, okay, and if you could, please contribute to our Cash App. Now, there's lots of ways. Okay, the Cash App is right down there. It's $HAPI Film. And if you're on YouTube, you can do the super chats, and we appreciate you guys that have been giving super chats all evening. And now, you know, if you're on Facebook, you can actually buy stars, which is really super cool. Like I bought stars with some things that, you know, because I'm like, when I see Black people doing stuff, the least I can do is try to support. So you can, you can buy stars through Facebook. And now, in terms of getting connected, let me see. Now, in terms of getting connected with Rizza, now there's lots of things you're going to do, but the first thing you're going to have to make sure you do is to make sure that you are on his texting. So you got to text HAPI to, and I'm going to put this, I'm going to make this into a banner, okay? Because that's super important. Because sometimes his regular social media platforms, because they feel away, you know, they're always feeling away about something. They will they'll try to shut him down. But if you're on his texting thing, he lets everybody know on there. And so, and let me put that up right there. You can text HAPI. That's so cool. Text HAPI right there. 310-634-0790. All right. And now you gotta subscribe to him too. And this is not that you're like sitting at home relaxing, you know, watching us talk. So you can go on everyone's page and subscribe to them. So this is Rizza's, there you go.
Definitely subscribe
right
to
that's his website, yep. And you can they can get onto your mailing list. Or your
the text blast, email list, all that. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then one last thing, you have your YouTube channel. There you go. Okay. Yeah. And this family, I'm going to put this up on the screen, but I also I'm going to put this in the chat so you can just hit it and go straight to it, because that's always, sometimes it's a little harder to go. And I'm sorry, this, you know. Anytime, it's so interesting. These little computers and stuff be acting kind of funny when we're doing certain things. Because I know when we were doing that One Africa conference, let me tell you, working back there, it was like, we were like, wait, what's happening? We're not even touching things and things are moving around. Yeah, that's why I was like, that's not cool.
And the YouTube page, I'm going to put the name of it in there as well so they can just search for it if that's easier. It's Rizza Islam, intellectual extremist. So I'll type it in there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be very helpful. Okay, fam. Okay. All right. Wait. I had a really good question for you. This actually came from my brother here. So what are your thoughts on legacy building? And if you feel free to talk about the NOI as an example, but legacy building.
There is nothing more important as it pertains to maintaining your existence in the future. The building an actual legacy is so people can see what type of leg you stood on, in so many words. They have to know what type of foundation you have built, what footprint you have made on the world. What did you do? And what are your children going to contribute? What are your children's children going to contribute? Or is it going to be some just bunch of crazy Negroes forever? Is that all we are? Or are we building things as engineers? Are we scientists? Are we scholars? Are we doctors, lawyers? What are we? Creative thinkers? Are we people who are inspiring others? It has to be made clear. And then we also have to make it a real to come after us. So that's why there are so many groups and organizations that still exist. For example, the Nation of Islam. The legacy is obvious because we have refused to allow it to be stomped out of existence. We refused, where they have tried to destroy multiple other organizations, and they successfully did this. They did it all the way back with the new organization. We saw what happened with our Black peoples. They did it to the Islam at a certain point in the early 70s. It did go down. few years where they completely decimated the thought. And having that legacy is extremely critical so that those who are in the future can remember what was done, so that they can have proof. Did we fight back, as you were saying? Because so many people don't know that we had tons of revolts.
Yes.
We didn't even speak the language. We was like, wait, what is this? So we did fight. We did rise up. We were builders. We were not swinging people in trees with bones in our nose. People used to do way back. But if we didn't have the legacy structure where the proof would be seen, then of course we accept whatever he gives us. And if you don't have that legacy, then you quite literally become the person that gives you their idea of what they want you to be. That's why the importance of having knowledge is so critical, because that gives you the legacy. It's the history. It's knowing what happened, who it was, when they did it, where they did it, so that you know who you are, where you're going to go, where you can do it, what you're going to build on top of what they did. If we're not finding a way to work for our lives and to work for our lineage more than we're doing for ourselves and our first name and just us as individuals, we will destroy ourselves.
Yes. Power and unity. Yeah. Power and unity, family. Power and unity.
Absolutely.
I think for some reason your voice is I mean the.
Oh, is there an echo or?
Yeah, there's like something. I don't know what it is, but it's something.
When so if I'm talking, mute your side and see if that works.
Okay. Well, no, you sound good right there.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. So now I had this question about just being a leader. So as a millennial leader, what do you recommend for uniting generations within our community? And what does that role and what is the role of the youth? What does the role the youth play now or or later?
First part of the role is for us to take on all the wisdom from the elders that came before us. That's first thing, because we don't know it all. It's first thing I got to make it clear with our generation. We have the highest, easiest access to information, but we do not have all the wisdom. We don't. We have to fill the division among the ages. In the division between the ages and the generations, unite with the elders and get the wisdom from them. We have to, because they went through things that most of us have never experienced and potentially will never have to experience. You're talking about having dogs sicked on you, water hoses put on you. You're talking about being shot by the police, being stabbed just for walking down the street, walking into the wrong restaurant, just for saying no, just for saying excuse me, just for looking at a white woman. There are things that hopefully none of us will have to experience. But because of what we went through, our life is now in a better position, even though at times it doesn't look like it, it is. So we have to do that first and then find out all the wisdom, get it all. That way we can build on things better because we already know the roadmap. We know where the traps are. We know what they set up, so we know how to navigate, get around it, and not fall into the same traps, thinking that we know it all. That's the first thing. And then from there, I'll say what the Honorable Minister said, which is we must be fearless in our pursuit of nationhood and building. Fearless. This is the most powerful generation that has ever been produced. We simply lack it. That's it. So I took that as, whoa, he said, then he even followed that up. He said, you are more powerful than what we had in the 60s. I said, wait a minute. If that's true, and I believe it is, then that means we got to kick this thing in overdrive right now. If that's the case, we got all the information right here. We got technology. We know where to go. We can connect. We have all the stuff, all of the materials. Have to gain the wisdom, gain the guidance from the proper people, and then have fearlessness when it comes to standing up against this system because it is already on the way out. At that point, that's it. So fearlessness, as Mr. Farrakhan said, looks like insanity to a coward. And that's one thing we can't stand, are cowardly Negroes, especially those who are elders, trying to water us down. We are coming back to what belongs to us. No matter whether if you co-sign it or not, get the hell out the way. Say. Don't try to stop us from gaining what rightfully belongs to us, because then you take on the color of an enemy. Now, look like one of them. Just sit down, okay, and let us do what we need to do to rebuild our world.
Yes, okay, see, we're getting feedback when you're saying crucial information. We're getting feedback from you, yeah.
You know what? Try to mute your side really quick, because that's sometimes, they're playing with the audio anyway. That's another thing. Because, okay, so you can hear me right now. Everything is good. Okay, that's what it is. Then yeah. Okay,
so when you talk, I'll make sure I mute myself. So, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought, because you said something that was so important when you were talking about wisdom that the elders give us. And I know I keep talking about this thing that happened to us in February, but one of the things that got us through is that we had two elders in particular, okay, Baina Bello and Professor James Small, who we were like, oh, we about to that, right? And they were like, no, stay right here. Like, they helped us, right? Because, we have the energy, we have this, but they helped to kind of guide it over here. And, it was very important for us to get to finish, to have this conference. And they kept us on track with that. So I so feel you when you're talking about this relationship that the young and the old has to have. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm just putting this out here. Okay, I'm going to need for you and Chase to come on together, or y'all need to do something together. Like, I need to see you two together, because both of you are very powerful voices in this. I don't even, is it Gen X or millennials?
We are the Joshua generation, according to Mr. Farrakhan. We with that one, but they can say millennial, but Joshua generation, yes.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
But that's my business, mine. Absolutely, I love to do something with them.
Yes. Okay, so I have one more question, but before I give you my last question for tonight, and then two, because you got to tell me some Black businesses. You always have good Black businesses. Yes. So family, make sure that you are liking and subscribing to our page and to Rizza's page. I'm going to keep putting all these things up. You guys know to go to hapifilm.com. You can get connected, get onto our newsletter. Make sure that you are on our YouTube page. And right there, this is Rizza. If you just type, he's the only Rizza. The only Rizza is just type in his name. Make sure you are subscribed to him on his page. And make sure it's the intellectual extremist, because sometimes people be trying to take other people's names. Okay, but make sure you are subscribed on his page as well. And text, because sometimes this stuff gets shut down.com because he's saying something that somebody else don't like. So you want to make sure you are texting HAPI to 310-634-0790. And get his book. Just get the book. Just get the book. Yeah, it's such I like the cover. I don't have mine sitting right in front of me.
I got mine right here.
Yeah, I'm showing you. Wait. Okay, let me make you bigger so we can see it. Yeah, right there. Yeah, look. Oh, you was even younger on that picture.
That was 2015. That was 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah, oh, see right there, family. Yeah, another author in his 20s when he wrote the book. Just like, yeah. Y'all need to chat.
Best-selling. The editor is a Black woman. My product manager is a Black woman. So it's the Black dollars are being recycled. It's completely independent. And like I said, best-selling independently. I have not subscribed to Amazon, none of those. It's only through our website. It's only Black in, Black out. It's all money, Black dollars. Yes.
And family, if you are on our Facebook page, you can buy stars. This is a really big deal. We have a star on here, and this is the first day that you can buy stars on our Facebook page. So please make sure that you are contributing to the movement, contributing to the HAPI movement. And the name of his book is Rizza Islam. You just type in Rizza Islam,
.com, you'll see it. It's called Message to the Millennials.
There you go. Message to the Millennials, Rizza.com. Yes. Okay. So, which leads me when you're talking about Black dollars. So last time Rizza was on here, he gave us information about, like, if you're having problems with your student loans, he had a Black business that was helping with that. So could you give us a couple of your Black businesses so that we can tell the fam?
Some of my go-tos for juicing. I'm a big juice brother. I love juicing, drinking my fruits and vegetables. Is Juicy Juice. I know there's one location out here in Carson, California, and the Compton location is about to open. And there's a drink named after your brother coming out at that location. That's one. So you're the first to hear about that, but that's going to be
that's what's up.
Yeah, that's definitely point. So Juicy Juice or any juice bars, I recommend that you go to. Another thing, you mentioned the student loan debt company that is called Reform Alliance. Reform Alliance. So you guys check that out. If you have any student loans, Black-owned student loan debt company, they are phenomenal. Phenomenal. I mean, some of the hardest working brothers who are helping people all over the place. It's phenomenal. Another business, I would say, man, there are so many. Oh my gosh. Woo. It depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, for fitness, I know Black-owned gyms. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. And I'm going to put up a list on my YouTube. I'm going to put up a list of Black-owned businesses that you should support. And also, of course, I have my own business. So go to RizzaIslam.com, get your products there too. I have some of those as well. And there's an immune booster from Rich Soul Foods. That's another major herb company that I support, that I take their supplements. And there's an immune booster called The Answer. The Answer, very critical. It's actually a supplement that myself, a brother by the name of Priest Kailash in St. Lucia, a brother by the name of Akeem Pierre in Canada, a brother, and also one of the top artists in the world from Jamaica, Brother Chronix. These are my brothers. We all came together and we all push The Answer as an immune booster supplement and a solution for people to maintain overall health. So that's another critical thing as well.
Okay, that's thank you, Rizza.
Absolutely.
Okay. So my last question for you tonight. What if what is a prayer, if you don't mind sharing with us, a prayer that you have for our people? Like what do you pray about when you think about us?
I pray that we honestly let go of our agreement with this system. And when I say that, what I mean is the way they taught us to live, how they taught us to eat, how they trained us to treat each other or not properly treat each other, how we rely on them for virtually everything: food, clothing, shelter, education. I really pray that we choose to let them go in every area that we have attached ourselves to them. Remove yourself from them spiritually, remove yourself from them mentally. I do not feel that I am subordinate to, that I am less capable than, that I am less educated than any of those that come from this system. I don't feel at all envious of any white man or the system. I don't feel that we need the system in any way. But in order for us to make that an actuality, we must replace everything that we rely on them for with something that we can produce and maintain for ourselves. And we are doing that. It is happening. We just have to support those who are already doing it, and then we have to simply add to it. That's all. But I'm not interested in being connected to this in any way possible. We should have our own everything. And that is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said separation is the greatest and only solution if we cannot get along with them in peace and live among them in peace under this system of things, then separation is best if we but knew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate you, brother. I so appreciate you. Special shout out to Sister Kiosha, because she held you down. I had to give her a proper shout out. Whenever I see her, I'm gonna make sure I give her a huge hug.
That's right.
You know, I'm sending you protection vibes. I'm sending you light, and I'm sending you love. You, I tell you, if you are what our young people are being made of, I'm happy. I am happy. Felicia happy because you are, 100%. Love you. All right. So, family, make sure you are supporting this brother Rizza. The first thing, make sure you are texting, text and get on the list, because everything, sometimes he's here, sometimes he's there. It's a good way to stay connected to him, because as you know, some of these, social media entities, they just all of a sudden go down when Rizza's in the house. So make sure that you are there so you can know where to go and where to meet. Sometimes he comes in town, and it's a bunch of good things happening. So make sure you text HAPI to 310-634-0790. And then also subscribe to his email list right there at RizzaIslam.com. He got a lot of other stuff. Just go to his website. He got a lot of other stuff going on over there.
Yes.
Okay, you can get his book, the immuno booster.
Oh yes, definitely the answer. I need to get the link for that.
Yes. Then right here, hit him up on the YouTube.
Yes.
Let's go YouTube. There you go. Make sure you are subscribed and hit his like button as well as ours. Okay. All right, Rizza, if you could just hang out in the green room for a quick moment, I'm going to close up the show. And thank you.
Absolutely. Peace, family.
Okay, fam, listen. Oh, we love some Rizza. And you guys are too. Whoever Talisha is, Talisha was just every time he said something, anytime I said something, she was like, and she's typing in the comments. So peace out to you, Queen. Thank you. All right, family. Make sure that that you are liking and subscribing to our video. That you're sharing the video with everyone. Okay, at least 3 people. At least send this video off to at least 3 people so they can have a chance to check out, our conversation with Rizza tonight. Also, go to hapifilm.com. Okay, you can get onto the newsletter, everything right there. Hapifilm.com. You can also make sure that you. I don't know if you guys have seen HAPI, our documentary, the 2-hour documentary is called HAPI: The Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization. We interviewed, we have like 30 scholars in this film. It's 2 hours long. We start in Kemet and we take you all around the world, and we talk about how we created the constructs of economics of what we know economics to be today. But we contribute $1.2 trillion to the economy, but we don't have ownership like we need to. It doesn't. We're not seeing this $1.2 trillion. So what's happening and what can we do to fix it? So make sure you check out the HAPI documentary. And our other 2 films are on there as well. Nubia, The Untold Story. And I actually have a t-shirt from there. Yay, Nubia. Nubia, The Untold Story, and The Tekken, where we look at all the ancient Egyptian symbols that are found in DC and how they are mirrored in Kemet. So make sure you guys have seen those 3, so you know who you dealing with when we talk about this HAPI movement. You know who you're dealing with, because you'll see all the things that we've been creating. Also, family, if you have yes, Tashi, you have to make sure you are on her Facebook page. She always puts some really nice things on her Facebook page. And family, if you want to contribute, you want to help us to continue this fight, this movement, the HAPI movement, any monies that you give us, if we recycle them back into our community, and it helps us to keep going, to keep moving on. All movements need resource. And we have, to take the words of Mfudishi Juhuti Miss, we are the ones that we've been waiting on. All right. So make sure, fam, that if you can't get out here and do the work, we are doing the work. So you can hit us up on the Cash app. If you are on YouTube, you can hit us up on the Super Chat. And we got stars now. We have stars on Facebook. That is such a huge thing. We started doing this podcast when COVID happened, because we were getting ready to premiere HAPI. We were going to tour all around the United States, but then COVID happened, and we thought we'd be up and going like in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But now it's been two years, and we are still dealing with the ramifications of COVID. But in the meantime, we were like, how do we stay connected to everyone? And we started our YouTube page, and at that point, we had like 200 or 300 people. And so now we are shy about 500 people left, okay? We just need 500 people to get to this next milestone, which will be 25,000 viewers on YouTube. Now, we are super excited about that, right? Because you think about, there's billions of Black people. I said billions of Black people in the United States. I mean, just not even, just like in the world, there's billions of Black people. And we got like almost 25,000 subscribers. We got to get a lot more. But right now, we are 500 short from hitting that milestone. So if you are not subscribed to us on YouTube, okay, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button and that you hit the notifications button. That way, as soon as we go live, you know what's going on. Now, listen, we're going to be announcing something probably on Thursday. If not Thursday, maybe next week, but I'm thinking Thursday. We are something huge. So it's super important that you are tapped in. So make sure that you either you are on that newsletter list, or that you are subscribed to us on YouTube, so that you'll be there. And thank you, Yvette, for subscribing. So make sure that you are tapped in so you get the information first. Because when we release tickets, it will only be tickets first to our newsletter people and people on YouTube. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to us. I think that's it, family. It's always good to spend time with you guys. We will be back again this week. Actually, on Thursday, we have Dr. Milana Karanga with us on HAPI Talks on Thursday. That's August 25th. So make sure that you are tuned in to see what Dr. Karanga has to tell us this time around. But I want to give a shout out to my partner in crime, Taki Grant, and my other partner in crime, Brittany Motley, Dr. Motley in the house. And so I hope that you guys have.
I'll put it this way, sum it up. As long as you confine yourself to slavery, you're all right. You might even get some money. You can get a museum. You can make a movie. But when you talk about Black people as the mothers and fathers of humanity, as the founders of civilization, then all hell is going to break loose. What does that mean? That African people have to begin, or not begin, but to continue to tell our own story. And if other folk get mad, that's too bad. We're going to tell our story loud and clear. We're not going to whisper. We're not going to stutter. We're not going to stammer. And we're not going to lose sleep if it makes you uncomfortable. You know the expression, until the lion has an historian, the hunter will always be a hero. You got 4 of them right here looking right at you, and we're not going to back up.
Yo, so let me tell you, family, Dr. Renoko must have had something to say, because I did not touch him. I did not touch the button for Dr. Renoko, but he came. And I'm so happy that he said what he said. So that is so true. Family, we have to love each other. We have to support each other, even if we disagree about whatever. So peace and blessings, and have a good week.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?